saw this come up on Facebook from Titus Frost, so I felt compelled to just do this live with you. He dropped a video link and I watched a couple minutes of it, and there's 19 minutes to it. I can't remember. I skipped all the way through to the 7:06 mark, and I watched about, I don't know, from probably 3 minutes to 7:06. But it's interesting. We'll go over this together, and the reason I want to do this, and I've had so many people say, dude, why do you spend so much time and energy feeding the trolls? Well, I haven't done this in a long time, and I'm not going to call this guy a troll. Maybe he legitimately thinks that I'm pro-censorship while I claim to be against censorship. Maybe he truly thinks that I censored him, and maybe Titus Frost thinks that I am an outrage merchant. So, you know, I want to repair bridges. I don't want to tear them down. I want a peaceful world. I don't want a world of war. So we'll go through this stuff. Truth fears no scrutiny. If I'm on the wrong side of truth, hopefully I'll have the maturity and wisdom and love and compassion to submit to the truth. I don't care where it comes from. I don't care if Hillary Clinton did a video on me and I was wrong. I would say, wow, Hillary Clinton was right. I was wrong. Doesn't matter who it is. But, you know, while these people tend to call me, people like this tend to call me and others trolls, outrage merchants. Are there outrage merchants? Yes. Yes. People do want you to operate from a fear-based. Are there fearful, strange, concerning things out in the world that we need to address and talk about? I think so. But when you address them, does that make you a fear merchant? I don't know. Maybe it does. So I want to leave myself open. I'm not calling Titus Frost a troll. Let's put it this way. Maybe Titus Frost believes I'm a bad person. Well, if I'm a bad person, I need to be exposed, because one of the ways you make the world good is by exposing the bad people. Maybe this guy right here, I think his voice sounds like Mr. Censorship or Mr. Uncensored. He goes under the name Harmful Content, and I guess that's him. I'm pretty sure that's him. It sounds like him. And we went back and forth in a text one time, probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. I don't know. It didn't seem like it was that fruitful to me. I'm not perfect in my responses, so there's a couple things that I would take back. I wouldn't be so, and it's interesting. I wouldn't be so harsh, but let's go ahead and go through interesting. The name of this video right here is High Impact Censorship, one of many outrage merchants. So let's go through this real quick. That they turn off the comments under these videos.
Man, I can't believe I'm making another video about this outrage merchant. That's my new name for these shills. I've been observing them, analyzing them, studying every little detail about them.
So I'm a shill that he studies every little detail about. I don't know, that's okay. I mean, to each his own. You're definitely free to do that.
And I realize one thing that they do is that they try to get people outraged. They use misleading information, kind of deceptive information.
By the way, it's truly not my intent to outrage anybody on the one hand. On the other hand, there are a lot of things that are outrageous where if we're not outraged, you know, I would say exploiting kids is pretty outrageous. And I would say that you get a pass if you're outraged about that. To act on that outrage and to act on a fear base without, you know, going ahead without knowledge, without all the facts, that's not a good thing. But to be outraged, that's part of humanity, right? I mean, I would ask the person who put this video together, Harmful Content, does it outrage you that kids are being exploited? Does it outrage you that banksters are inflating and diluting the money supply and stealing the time and laboring energies of people who work hard for a living? That's outrageous, and it tends to outrage me. Am I intending on you being outraged? Maybe, maybe not. If the outrage is going to be funneled with wisdom and knowledge, is that a bad thing? I don't know. You answer that question.
Information that's like sort of half true, but mostly fake, to get people outraged. And then, you know, they want to get people outraged because that's...
Now, if I'm bringing forth misinformation and disinformation, okay, come on. You got to tell me what it is, and then I can correct it. If you're putting out disinformation, misinformation, you're basically lying and deceiving people, lying to and deceiving people. I don't want to lie to and deceive people. If I'm doing that, it's definitely not intentional and it's inadvertent. Does that mean I'm not going to make a mistake somewhere along the line? I'm a human being. I'm going to make mistakes. So correct me. The reproofs of instruction are the way of life.
Sort of what the club is trying to do right now. They're trying to get people angry so that they do things without thinking. So anyway, I haven't done a video on this outrage merchant in quite a while. So before I start this video, I just want to discuss some things that I've been observing that he's been doing. So one thing that I noticed he's been doing with his main channel is he started to do what this channel, I believe the channel is called Jason A. And like that's like a major shill account that YouTube has been pushing pretty much since the beginning. And you know, Jason A, all they do is they show videos that are supposed to get people anxious or supposed to get people outraged or supposed to fill them with emotion. Those videos they have...
Now, could he be reading into this? I haven't seen a Jason A. I know who he's talking about. I haven't seen a Jason A video in a long, long time, but it seems like he puts together news reports or whatever. But he's assuming motive. He's ascribing motive onto Jason A. Can he prove that? Can you prove a motive? What if Jason A is just trying to put out information so that you can make an intelligent decision or a more informed decision about, you know, the trajectory for your life? I don't know what Jason A's motives are. This guy could be right about Jason A's motives. I don't know. I don't know how you can ascribe that unless you have absolute proof.
Absolutely zero wisdom to them. They provide absolutely no solutions, and they really leave people worse off.
That's his opinion. These are all his opinions. All of his opinions.
So High Impact Flicks has been doing a very similar thing lately on his main channel, High Impact Flicks. Actually, I don't know.
Yeah, the person who's talking right now is not Titus Frost. I don't think it's Titus Frost. It's somebody named Harmful Content, and I'm pretty sure it sounds like the Mr. Censored guy or Mr. Uncensored.
Why I called him High Impact Flicks. His name is Brian, or at least that's what he claims his name is. So this guy Brian on his main channel, High Impact Flicks, he started to basically just put out like viral videos, like videos that are just clips of a bunch of other videos. And you know, they're perfect videos, because then somebody like me can't call him out for lying. You know, he just puts out those videos, people watch them, it's pretty much like news headlines. Like, you know, these videos, they have no substance. It's like a person reading a news headline and thinking that they have the entire story. But anyway.
Again, all his opinion, in which he's perfectly within his rights to have.
Making this video. So I'm making this video because Brian put out this video right here on his Grease Monkey Videos channel. This is not his main channel, High Impact Flicks. This is one of his other channels, Grease Monkey Videos. He has this channel, and then he also has Here's the Deal. And of course, shill content on all of it, okay? So in this video, as you can see, it's titled, WTF, Wake Up America, Are They Doing This in Your Neighborhood Too? And then he has the mosquito sprayers. So he puts out this video, and then he makes it like this mosquito spraying is something new. Here is what he says at the start of the video.
People saying, oh, that'll never happen here in America.
So right at the start of the video.
How does that make it sound like something new? Putting that on the back burner for a second. It's new to me. I've never heard of trucks or cars, state vehicles going through neighborhoods and just spraying chemicals into the air on your neighborhood street. That is new to me. Put a 1 in the room. We're live right now. There's a couple people in here. Put a 1 in the room if that's new to you. I've never heard of this in America. Definitely seen it for years in China, not in America. I didn't think that Americans, but then again, I didn't think Americans would submit to the ritualistic shame muzzle either. But so... Surprise, 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 Sergeant Carter.
Actually, let me not get to that. So right at the start of the video, he makes...
Yeah, see, Lone Wolf says not new in Florida. Smallface says it's new to him.
It as if this is something new. Like, because he's like, oh yeah, people are saying that will never happen in America. And what he's actually talking about at the start of the video is the China disinfectant patrols. So China has these, like, disinfectant vehicles going around and spraying the shit out of the area. And China has been doing this for like a couple of years now. So he starts the video talking about that, but then he leans into the mosquito spraying. And he's like, yeah, you know, this is the same thing as them spraying the disinfectants. You know, he tries to equate the spraying of disinfectants with the spraying of mosquitoes, which is a fair comparison. However, when I clicked on this video, the first comment that I saw, the top comment, was this comment right here. They have been doing this for like ever. Not saying this is a good thing. Back in the 50s, my father would go all over the tractor spraying for mosquitoes. The fact that
no, this isn't the Ice Age farmer. I like that guy. That guy's measured, metered. He's got wisdom. He's got nuggets to put out that people need to see. This is not the Ice Age farmer.
My older brother got cancer at 16 and died at 29 must just be a coincidence, right? Look how, and this comment is just retarded. So check this out, right? Oh, and my grandmother, who lived across the driveway, died of liver cancer. And her husband had colon cancer when he died of a heart attack. And my sister had a rare cancer of the jaw and mouth. Just a coincidence. I am fine at 73 though so far. We lived on a tobacco farm. What a fucking jackass. You might have wanted...
I don't think Daniel Rose deserved that. Calling this guy's recounting his story, and just because he didn't write the way the harmful content things that he should have wrote, literally calls him a name, engages in an ad hominem just because a guy is expressing his thoughts. It's strange to me.
To start your comment with that. We lived on a tobacco farm where spraying the crops was a regular thing. The plane would come and everyone would have to scurry like mad to get out of the field. Fun times. So of course this comment is retarded. I know that. I mean, the first thing I thought about is like, once again, why didn't you start your comment with the tobacco farm? The second thing I thought about is, why are they running...
This individual is full of opinions, which again, he's free to have, but he just, in his opinionated stance, he tends to condemn people and call them names, which I just don't see how that's beneficial to humanity.
Like mad out of the field. Why doesn't the person who's spraying the field do it on a schedule? And why don't these field workers know that schedule so that they don't have to be in the field when this spraying is occurring? I mean, to me, this comment is really goofy. However, it does point out an important fact, which is that they have been doing this spraying forever. They have been doing it for a very long time. So anyway...
Well, spraying on a personal farm is different. Now, people are telling me in the comments they spray in Florida, they spray in parts of Texas. I've never been exposed to that. I've never seen that. If I saw somebody spraying down the street, I'm coming out of my house and telling this guy, get off my street. We're not doing this. I don't want my family. I don't want my neighbors to be breathing this. You're not doing this. And if you want to bring out the cops, that's fine. But we're taking a stand here. This is America, not China.
I decided to comment. I decided to reply to this comment. And I say, Brian is an outrage merchant and a disinformation shill whose job is to make those in the truth community look stupid and or crazy. Not very different than Alex Jones. Part of what he does is not provide...
So I'll just stop there and say, okay, it's your opinion that I'm an outrage merchant. Go ahead and prove that. And prove that I peddle disinformation and that I'm a shill. In other words, that I work for somebody to put out this content because they're hiring me to do so. That's what a shill is. A shill is somebody that works for a third party without letting your audience know it and pushing the agenda of that third party. So you got to prove that harmful content while you're engaged in these ad hominems, while you have this super opinionated posture where you're condemning people who don't write like you, don't talk like you, don't form sentences like you. Just prove to me that I've peddled disinformation and that I work for a third party to push their agenda. I just need the proof for that.
Facts like what you have provided here, or I should have said what you provided above. I live in New York City, and they did it a lot in my neighborhood when I was a kid around 1999 or 2000. So anyway, I kind of just left it there. I was like, all right, whatever. I ended up going to bed, going to sleep. And then I got a notification. For some reason, I got a notification for one of these replies that are here. So I decided to come and see if they were replying to me. And I was like, okay. So I checked out the comments. And I was like, wow, nobody's interacted with my comment. Not a thumbs down, not a thumbs up. And I kind of thought that was a little weird. So I was like, oh, you know what? I know exactly what happened here. I was like, you know what? I bet you Brian, I bet you what he did is I bet you he shadow banned me. So what I did is I logged into another account, my Your Pal the Devil account, and I went to go check out the video. And look at that, my comment wasn't there. Right now, my Your Pal the Devil comment is there, because I just basically copied and pasted the other comment.
Wait, what does this comment say? Here's the comment. Can you guys see that? Let me expand that a little bit for you so you can see it. Oh, he put it in writing. Here is the comment Brian censored. Brian is an outrage. So he is literally accusing me of censoring or removing one of his comments. Accusation without substantiation is the height of ignorance. Since I've been on the internet, I don't care how horrific the comment was. There was some kind of child pred individual that was saying sick stuff about girls, and I didn't censor that. I didn't even censor that. My rationale is let the free market shake this stuff out. I'm not your global police. I don't have time to go through content. Number one, I don't have the desire. Number two, if I did have the desire, I don't have the time. I've got a family. I've got things to do in my own household and life that I need to accomplish. I'm not going to go hawking people's comments. So this is very strange that somebody without substantiation would come at anybody, not just me, but anybody, and make an accusation that the content creator, in this case me, is censoring a comment when you have zero proof, and that has never happened from my end.
Put it here, but my comment from my harmful content channel is gone. Brian has blocked me. And as you see, I'm going to go ahead.
There you go. There's another statement of fact from his end. Brian has blocked me. It's a lie.
I'll switch accounts. I'll log into harmful content. And you will see, this is the notification I got. My comment is there. I can see it when I'm logged into harmful content. But when I'm logged into Your Pal the Devil, it's not there.
Okay, so it is there. So I didn't remove it. But he's saying somehow I can work something. Maybe he can demonstrate how you would even do that. There's WCMW and Fab. This is the replies on my video. So perhaps harmful content could demonstrate how, if a content creator did want to shadow ban while leaving the comment there, how you would actually do this. I'm not even aware that you have a function to do that on the back end on YouTube. Plus, I don't have the time and I don't have the desire to do it because I hate censorship. Now, you can believe me or not. That's basically you have to take my word for it. There is no proof that I've ever engaged in any kind of censorship on the internet. And the reason there's no proof is because I've never done it.
So Brian now practices censorship.
Another statement of fact from his end. Brian Young from High Impact Flicks, Grease Monkey Videos, here's the deal, practices the censorship that he says he hates. Brian is a hypocrite. He's a disinformation shill.
Now, of course, I'm not only going to be covering that in the video. Let me actually break down some of what Brian does in this video. So the first thing that I have to put out...
So just to make it clear, he literally lies against me with zero proof. And not only that, Titus Frost is peddling this. I sent a message to Titus Frost after I watched the first couple minutes of this video that we're watching right now. This is what I told Titus. I've never censored anyone, not even the most disgusting comments. This person provides zero proof and you're promoting falsehood. For some reason, I don't know, Titus Frost has a problem with me, because I'm a voluntarist and I was giving him a hard time. Maybe wrongly so. Maybe I said things that today, the Brian of today would not have said, and I would have a conversation with the Brian of yesterday, because we go through life and we're in a journey, and hopefully we're becoming more mature and we're trying to walk in wisdom. We're trying to accumulate the knowledge that we have so we can put it into practice, which is what wisdom is. Wisdom is the application of knowledge, the mature, loving, kind application of knowledge. So maybe I'd look back at the Brian of yesteryear and say, wow, you should not have said that to or about Titus Frost. But for some reason, he still holds this against me to the point where he would actually take a video that has zero substantiation so far. Maybe he's going to have substantiation about me being a disinformation agent or peddling false information or making claims that aren't true. And then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But you know what? There is no fear of that. If I've done it, I really want to know so that I can correct it. All right, back to this. So Titus Frost, I don't know. I don't know. Contact me or something. I'm not against you, man. I'm not against you.
Of course, is that...
Oh, I didn't complete my thought. I was giving him a hard time about being... He was once a voluntarist and anarchist, and then he moved away from that, and he started promoting Trump. Trump obviously is working for the banksters, so when you promote Trump, you're selling the bankster idea. You're actually trying to, you're promoting the tyranny that's blanketing the land. Okay, back to this video.
Brian has the nerve to say this in the video too.
News report, and it's interesting that they turn off the comments under these videos. This is from KHOU News Channel 11.
Okay, wait a second. First of all, the comments actually aren't turned off here. You see here? So he's like, oh yeah, it's interesting that they turned off the comments, but you can make a comment here. So this is hilarious. So he's like, oh yeah, they turned off the comments, but look, you can see he actually...
Okay, he's right about that. When I did this, I was doing it live on DLive. I think it was last night or the night before, and he's right about that. They didn't turn off the comments. You can add a comment. So that was definitely my mistake. Yeah, it initially looked like they turned off the comments. So he's right about that. I was wrong. They didn't turn off the comments. So that is a statement of error. I wasn't trying to lie about it. I literally thought that they turned off the comments because I didn't see any comments. But he's right. When they turn off the comments, there's something in blue down here that says comments disabled for this video or whatever. So yeah, he's right about that. I was wrong.
Ability to make a comment here. But what's interesting is that, he's talking about them turning off the comments here, but yet he censors comments himself. So
that's a statement that has no substantiation and just is a downright lie.
The guy is just a hypocrite. He's not just a hypocrite. He's a shill. I mean, I don't understand how people don't see it yet. This guy is a con man. He's
still no proof.
Confidence man. And I'm going to prove that further right now by looking at what he says in the video.
Amethyst, this comes from the YouTube channel, Harmful Content. Guys, if you go over there, please, keep it cordial. Just, ask for, well, I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. And I would prefer that nobody dog this guy. I want to keep, gosh, it's so hard to repair a bridge. It's so hard to repair a destroyed bridge, and it's so easy to burn them down. It's always going to be like that. Construction is always more difficult than demolition. So I don't know. I no ill will toward this guy, please. That would be my request. So if you're going to go to Harmful Content, here I'll put here's the. I know there's another part of me where I hear this resonating in the back of my mind. Don't feed the trolls, and here I am. I don't know. Not calling him a troll. I really think that Harmful Content really thinks that I'm a misinformation agent. He really thinks that I censor his comments. So I'm going to give him, a little leeway there.
That they turn off the comments under these videos. This is from KHOU News Channel 11, Missouri City. Listen to this.
Okay, we can skip that. Let's look at this.
But to apply a broad brush government solution to a problem that most likely, if you look deep enough, if you strip away enough layers, it's a problem they probably caused in the first place. The reason that we have all this stuff.
Okay, so maybe you guys didn't get that, but essentially if you go and watch his video, and you can see I'm not taking this out of context at all, what he's saying here, he's trying to blame the mosquitoes existing on the government. Here, I'm gonna play that again, okay? So what ends up happening here at the very start of the clip, the news that he's watching, they offer some ways to control mosquitoes, and they're like, don't leave standing water, and they provide, natural ways for preventing mosquitoes. And then Brian says the following.
But to apply a broad brush government solution to a problem that most likely, if you look deep enough, if you strip away enough layers, it's a problem they probably caused in the first place. The reason that we have all this stuff.
So the broad brush government solution that he's talking about is the spraying of mosquitoes. And he's all like, oh yeah, if we look deep enough, we'll see that the government is the one responsible for all this stuff in the first.
No, I didn't say we'll see that. I said I used the word probably. And why do I use the word probably? Because historically speaking, if you look at the problems of the world, Many, 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 many of them, many times, are actually caused by the government. And it fits in with the Hegelian dialectic of problem, reaction, solution. They create or co-opt an existing problem. They make it worse. They exacerbate it. They wait for the fear-based, irrational response that he's talking about that I do to people by being a fear merchant. And then they step in to provide the pre-planned solution. And that's why I said the word probably. I don't have any proof that the government increased the mosquito population so they could come up with a solution for the petrochemical companies to spray stuff in the air that's going to cause people to be sick and have them run to the pharmaceutical industrial complex, but I wouldn't doubt it. Why wouldn't I doubt it? Because the government thrills at destroying people's lives in a myriad of different ways.
Place. Almost like equating the existence of mosquitoes with the government. And then, of course, what he says after that...
Well, you can't equate the existence of Gil Bates' GMO mosquitoes with government. And that's in Florida.
And I don't want to leave this part out. After this, he claims that Bill Gates released mechanical mosquitoes to gobble up the organic or natural mosquitoes. Now, of course, Bill Gates didn't release mechanical mosquitoes, but he did release genetically modified
there
mosquitoes.
You go. Yeah.
But for some reason...
It was a poor word choice. I made a mistake on that.
Brian refers to them as mechanical mosquitoes, and for some reason, he claims that these mechanical mosquitoes gobbled up, he literally uses that word, gobbled up the other mosquitoes, which is not at all what happened whatsoever. I mean, there were genetically modified mosquitoes released, and these genetically modified mosquitoes, they were supposed to reduce the natural mosquito population by essentially, I think it was like breeding with them, and then when they bred with them, they actually wouldn't produce, or something like that. I don't understand the full scope of it. Of course, it doesn't seem right at all, but the way that Brian describes it is completely wrong.
And then you got...
I would agree with part of that. Yeah, Bill Gates says it's the world's deadliest animal, and the data shows he's right, and he got involved in genetically modifying mosquitoes. So I can't remember if it's the male or the female that lays eggs, probably the female, but it gets in with, it mixes in with the regular mosquito population, and the intent, they say, is to eradicate the mosquito population by causing sterility, as far as I understand it. But yeah, I'm sure there was some things that I said that were in error there.
People like Gil Bates who come along and go, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to launch all these mechanical mosquitoes into the air so that they can gobble up all
Sometimes I look at live streams that I do and I'm like, I'm such a dumbass.
Mosquitoes that are laying the eggs. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong when you put Gil Bates' hand on the lever of power?
So there you go. He says that. Now, of course, he doesn't actually look into the information. He's just like, oh, look, Bill Gates was behind it, so it must be evil. And of course, maybe it is, but I'm not going to get into that. What I want to get into is this very next thing that he says, because it describes perfectly what Brian does and what other shills like him do.
Tomorrow morning, crews will be spraying in Hialeah, Indian Creek, North Miami.
Let's say this is a park right here they're spraying in, which probably is. What if it's a public park? And then the next day you take your kids to that public park and your dog's rolling around in it, your kids are rolling around in it, you're playing in the grass, you're throwing the frisbee or whatever. You get this stuff on your bare feet, you get this stuff on your exposed skin. Well, what happens? What are the repercussions? What if you get sick 2 weeks later and then you forget that you were at the park? You don't even link the two, the fact that you're sick right now and that there was something that was sprayed in the grass by the city who are out there just to protect you.
Alrighty, so what Brian never does in this video, and by the way, I just have to comment, I would never buy a Nike shirt. And if somebody bought me a Nike shirt as a gift, I would throw it out right in front of their face. And I'd be like, why are you supporting this company?
Okay, so if your mom bought you a Nike shirt or Nike shoes, you would throw it out in front of their face. That doesn't seem too kind. Now, I understand why people would have a problem with Nike. I haven't looked into Nike, but I hear, there's child sweatshops and all that kind of stuff. If you look deep enough into any company, I'm sure there's corruption. We all have brand name stuff. What is Samsung into? What's Apple into? I would throw anything that had anything to do with any kind of corruption away. How far do you take it? So let me just apologize to anybody who might be offended at me wearing a Nike shirt. This actually was a gift from somebody. I don't go out and buy brand name stuff. As a matter of fact, most of the clothes that I wear, I didn't buy for myself. So I have trouble believing that if his mom or dad, assuming he's got a good relationship with his mom or dad, or brother or sister or loved one, aunt, uncle, whatever, gave him a Nike shirt, I have a hard time believing that this guy is so hard-hearted. Maybe he wants to convey himself as that, but I so cold that he would throw a gift away. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
That's what I would tell them. Like, don't buy me a Nike shirt, all right? So I don't know why Brian is sporting a Nike shirt here. I mean, maybe he doesn't have the same principles that I do, but whatever. No.
So he just elevated himself in the principal category. That seems like an example of virtue signaling. Let me signal my virtue and show you how much more righteous I am than Brian. Look how much of a purist I am. Guys, as pure as you think you are, there's somebody more pure than you that's looking down their nose at you and pointing their finger at you saying you're not as pure as I am. So I don't see how that can make the world a better place. As a matter of fact, I see how that can make the world a cruddier place than it already is.
The important thing that I want to discuss here is that this entire video, Brian has this whole video of him being outraged by them spraying for mosquitoes, and
it's not an outrageous thing to spray chemicals into the air of your community, your neighborhood, where you live, near your children, near your pets, near your loved ones. It's not outrageous. Goodness gracious.
Talks about this mosquito spray. He only refers to it as a toxin. He's like, oh yeah, they're spraying these toxins everywhere. Not once does he actually look up what they're spraying.
The guy in the video says we chose the less toxic substance. The guy in the video who's spraying it off of the back of his truck calls it a toxin. It's a least dangerous toxin, but it's still a toxin. And if it's going to kill mosquitoes, what other kind of bugs is it killing? And if it is killing mosquitoes, doesn't that kind of indicate it might be something that you might not want to breathe? Why would you have to go into your house while they're spraying?
The pesticide used is called Anvil 10+10, a product extensively...
How do we know that that's true? This comes from health.ri.gov. So he's reading from a government website. And if he's going to take 100% of this as true, then he's putting 100% of his trust in what the government's telling you is in that.
Tested and used in both ground level and aerial spraying in the United States to control mosquitoes. Anvil 10+10 contains two ingredients, sumithrin and piperonal butoxide. Now, when you look those things up, you find the following. Piperonal butoxide is low in toxicity to humans, but is often combined with other pesticides like pyrethrins or pyrethroids. PPO is practically non-toxic to birds, mammals, and bees. And it really is. This thing is practically non-toxic.
It's practically non-toxic. That's not good enough for me. Hey, you can spray that into our air as long as the government assures me that it's practically non-toxic. But Brian, you're an alarmist, man. What right do you have to breathe fresh air? All your neighbors want the mosquitoes eradicated, and the government's got just the solution to do it. Trust the government.
To most life forms. However, if you do ingest a ton of it, effects include lower appetite, unsteady balance, watery eyes, irritable behavior, coma, and death.
Oh my God.
Human volunteers were given a small dose of PPO to test effects on the liver. The PPO did not weaken their livers. See NPIC fact sheets for signs and symptoms of exposure to other pesticides that may be mixed with PPO.
Okay, number one, this is assuming that that's exactly what that guy's spraying, who the guy testified it's toxic. It's less toxic than other toxicities, but it's still toxic. That's assuming that is true. And it's also assuming that what the government is telling you about this is true. Is that true? Does that make it true?
So PPO, do I have it here? Shit, I don't have it here. I forgot to include that information. So PPO actually isn't a pesticide. It's actually something that serves to strengthen other pesticides. And that's why it says to see these fact sheets for signs and symptoms of exposure to other pesticides that may be mixed with PPO.
Roundup is perfectly safe. Wait, how many class action lawsuits are there against Roundup? Yeah, I'm going to wait till 20 years down the road to discover, oh, what the government told me is safe wasn't exactly safe.
I don't know why they say other pesticides, because once again, PPO is not necessarily a pesticide. And they mix this...
I think he means PBO.
...with phenolphthrin, or also called sumithrin, and diphenolphthrin, which is a synthetic pyrethroid that kills adult fleas and ticks. And this has also been used to kill head lice in humans.
I'm just going to fast forward here because I got to get going.
Here's just some information saying that this is, it's used because it's non-toxic. At least it's non-toxic to human beings. Air, and less than a day on the surface of plants. Now, of course, this probably depends on this isn't going to help.
I'm trying to fast forward here, guys. I don't want to waste
what neighborhoods they're going to be spraying, and it's not.
Looks like he's just talking about the
video
toxicity.
He talks about generalized and so superficial that they're basically schizophrenic thoughts. Their points, like one thing that Brian points out in his video is he talks about the increase in mosquito populations in certain areas, and you know, he makes a good point about, like, who benefits, like, you know, who's making money off of these operations. And he makes some other points.
All right, I got to get going, guys. I'm pressed for time. But, okay, so the name of this video is High Impact Censorship, one of many outrage merchants. I'm going to leave that in the chat room for you. Please don't be ugly with this guy. I don't know. I don't know if he's being genuine. I don't know if he's disingenuous. Maybe he really believes that I'm an outrage merchant and that I'm peddling disinformation or whatever. And I don't know. I just try to give him the benefit of the doubt. But he does make unsubstantiated claims, which makes me think, well, there's a lot of disingenuity going on here. So anyway, I wanted to put that out to you. If you guys think that I've peddled disinformation or misinformation or whatever, correct me in the comment section below. I can't promise you that I'm going to see your comment because I get a lot of comments and emails and messages and everything like that all throughout the day. But, you know, I'm doing the best I can. Did I make some mistake in this video? Yes. You tend to do that when you're live streaming. You can even do that when you're script writing and, you know, you do all your research and there was something you just didn't uncover and you forgot to mention or you left it out, you know, not intentionally. You just, you know, you overlooked it in your pursuit for the truth. So anyway, I wanted to put that out to you. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you guys being in the chat room. None of us is greater than all of us. Let's try to make this world a better place. I will see you guys in the next live stream. Take care.